Hi there and welcome to Knox. In this video we're going to be taking a quick first look at the latest addition to the Knox fleet of motorcycles. That's this Husqvarna FE350. Sounds pretty naughty. So for those of you who are new to the Knox channel or are new subscribers, you should know that we run our own fleet of motorcycles. That's consisting of the BSB Superstock GSXR 1000 that you can see in the corner here. We've got a road and track GSXR 1000. We've got a heavily modified GSXR 750 Suzuki. And we've got a Yamaha WR250F Enduro bike. Obviously, this is the latest addition to that. Well, we run this fleet of motorcycles, well, partly because we absolutely love riding, but it also really helps us to develop our own product, put them through their paces on a more extreme side, whether that's riding on track or on just high quality motorcycles. And obviously the enduro side of it as well really helps us put our products through their paces and provide great content for you guys on the YouTube channel as well. Now recently we tested the GasGas EC350f and I said that was the best enduro bike I've ever ridden. From the engine to the suspension, just to the overall package of the bike. Well, we didn't go out and buy a GasGas, but ultimately we did put our money where our mouth is and we've gone with the Husqvarna version. So why Husqvarna FE350, you might ask? Well, I'm not going to beat about the bush here. I'm a massive Husqvarna fan and I'm a real fan of pretty much every product that the KTM group are currently producing. They always perform great. They put a massive grin on your face, and whether it's a bike like the Norden 901 or the 701 Enduro or the FE350, they're just at that point where you know they're going to be fantastic. I mean, they're at the point you don't even need to test ride them. They just do what they're meant to do. There's very little compromise with them. For me, they're just really exciting bikes that I just get on every time and pretty much guarantee that I'll love it. So I really ummed and ahed between buying the 250 4-stroke and the 350 4-stroke. The reality is that, you know, at our kind of level of riding, the 250 4-stroke would have been ample. And I've test ridden a 250 4-stroke KTM and it was more than enough for what we're doing. A bit of trail riding, more of the hard enduro stuff. They're fantastic bikes. But at the end of the day, when I test rode the GasGas EC350f, that just had a bit more. Do we need it? Probably not. Do we want it? And the fact that it'll pull a 5th gear clutch up wheelie, it's quite nice to have. And you only live once, so we went with the 350. So in order to make space for this bike, we actually had to get rid of the 701 Enduro. That bike was absolutely unbelievable, and you'll have probably seen some of our content on that machine. We loved it from start to finish. While it crashes quite well, it's never going to be a competition enduro bike. These things are designed to, you know, be dropped regularly. They're tougher, they're lighter, and they're just more suitable for the type of riding that we're currently starting to do, basically. That being said, I've got some really cool accessories that are going to transfer over from the 701 Enduro onto this one. So I've got some nice sort of handlebar accessories. I've got a really nice luggage set that is a Husqvarna luggage set that'll fit nicely onto this bike. I've got some fairing parts that I'm pretty sure will transfer from one to the other. And we've also got a really cool graphics kit that we're going to be fitting and revealing pretty soon as well. So it kind of goes without saying, but when we start to put some hours onto this and get some experience with it, we'll be coming back with more and more content on it over the next year or two, basically. But I just thought before we'd ridden it, while it's really clean like this, got white fairings, it's not going to stay like that for very long. It'd be a good opportunity to have a little look inside, see what's what, and share some of the details. So first, looking at the cockpit area, notice quite a big difference between this and the GasGas model. First thing you notice, it's got genuine Pro Taper handlebars, so a really high-end set of handlebars on them. You wouldn't need to replace them in the future. They've got really nice ODI grips with like the lock-on ones, which are really cool. And it's also got billet aluminium triple clamps as well, which obviously normally they'd be cast on a motorcycle like this, but because it's the Husqvarna one, they're CNC'd, they're going to be stiffer and just basically look pretty bling as well. Next up, I've noticed that the bike has a carbon composite subframe. Now obviously this is different to a traditional enduro bike that may have a steel or aluminium subframe. This one is lighter, it claims to be quite strong, blooming hope it is by the time I've barrel rolled it down a hill, and I'm sure they're going to be more expensive to replace if I do that. But I think it's quite a cool thing, it's lightweight, and what it also does is provide a really great handle for when you're lifting it up into different ruts and that kind of stuff, so that's pretty cool. We've also got a really nice looking exhaust end can. Personally, I really like the look of it, and I know these 350s are a fair bit louder than the 250s as well, so it sounds pretty mint, especially when it's laden as well. Next up, we've got DID anodized rims. Massive fan of these. These are going to be yeah, they're just premium again. I really like them, and because again it's the premium model from the KTM group, they've got the Michelin medium enduro tires, which are fitted as stock. That's great. I mean, basically it means we won't have to change the tires, which you would possibly normally consider if you're buying a stock bike, although we will be installing mousses, because basically I've experienced that having really low pressures is way better for traction. So we'll be putting mousses in these combined with the Michelin medium tires, and we should have top-notch performance. Next up, we can see on the handlebar there's a map and traction control switch here basically. So the bike gives you two different maps. One is standard and the number 2 is more advanced, so that's more of a snappy power, I think. You've also got the option to add traction control in there as well, which is not sort of like your typical road traction control that basically wouldn't allow you any drive with the rear wheel. It's a traction control that's designed for off-road riding, and I don't even think it exists on many other bikes, so it's quite innovative, and I'm looking forward to trying that one out. We've also weighed the bike, and with a full tank of fuel it came in at 111 kilos. Now I was really surprised about this because I thought it was going to be a bit heavier than that, and we have installed quite a few accessories that I'll come on to as well. They've probably added another kilo or two onto the weight of the bike, so I was surprised that 111 kilos seems really lightweight to me. Of course they're going to be 4 or 5 kilos heavier than the 2-stroke models, but overall I'm really impressed with that. As it's a Husqvarna model, of course, it has really premium WP suspension on the front and rear. In comparison to the GasGas we tested, it does feel firmer. I don't know whether it's got a stiffer stock setting, but it feels firmer, it feels really well damped, and it's very well balanced front to rear, unlike our WR, which is kind of now is quite spongy at the back, hard up the front. This feels balanced front to rear, but as a stock bike, as a stock setting, just sat on it, feels great. So another cool thing that I've noticed, just like the 701 Enduro that we had, this FE350 has an adjustable steering lock as well. So initially it feels a little bit tight, but actually it's got this bolt here that you can either screw in or screw out or take out entirely to improve your turning circle. Clearly if you're doing really technical stuff, maybe we'll take it right out. But if we're doing more road stuff or, open sections and we don't want tank slappers and stuff, close it up a little bit. I think that's a cool level of adjustability that you don't normally see on an enduro bike. So we bought the bike from Appleyard Husqvarna, and I have to say they've been really helpful and efficient with us throughout this whole purchasing process, and they've given us great advice and service along the way as well. So they're really recommended if you're looking for a bike like this. At the time, they actually asked us, do we want to add any accessories to it as well while we're purchasing it. Normally that's something that I would put off for the future and then subsequently regret it because I'd be dropping the bike and smacking something and think, oh God, I wish I'd have done that. So anyway, this time I said yes and took their recommendation basically. So let me just take you over some of the things that they've installed for me, and they've done a much better job than what I could have done. First thing is a front disc guard here. Now we're doing quite a lot more riding in thicker ruts and in roots and with rocks that are coming up sort of around this sort of level. So to have a bit of a disc guard here, I'm sure is going to pay for itself in not very long. We've also got engine guards to protect the engine cover and clutch cover as well. The stock Husqvarna engine covers are beautiful. What I really didn't want to do is just put a massive gouge in it, so we've covered them up. The other thing that we've done is put the full skid plate on it, and that's got the linkage protection in as well. I believe that's an Acerbis product, and that's just going to mean our linkage is protected and the bottom of our engine as well, which is obviously very important. Next thing what we've got is swing arm covers. Again, they're just going to provide protection, for clattering into rocks. I was going to protect the investment basically, stop it getting all chipped and knocked. Last thing, we've gone with a genuine Husqvarna rear disc guard here. This thing feels like it's made out of adamantium. It is absolutely bulletproof, and I'm pretty sure that if we get any knocks, this is just going to say, hey, again, so that's pretty cool. Last thing. Now I really ummed and ahed about whether I should do this or not, and originally I didn't decide to put the sort of full wraparound handguards on, but I was out the last couple of weekends and dropped my bike quite a lot, and I just thought, do you know what, I just need to add them on. So I've got on order the official Husqvarna wraparound handguards, the aluminium ones that are going to just provide extra protection. So a couple of years ago, we did a review on the Knox channel of the Husqvarna TE150 and 250 two-strokes that we had for a couple of weeks. And that was when I was brand new, fresh into enduro riding, and I didn't know too much about it. But one of the comments that I made is that I didn't really understand how people were practically using these things on trail riding and stuff like that, because ultimately they had very little road going functionality and they had literally no security. Well, very interestingly enough, that seems to have changed now somewhat. So let me just share a couple of things. First one that I think is so cool is the fact that this bike now comes with a steering lock that's actually built into the frame. So, clearly, look, these are enduro bikes, to turn them on, you just press that button and away you go. Anyone could just steal it any time, basically. And, unless you're carrying, locks and stuff, your dirt bike basically never has any security. Well, now you've actually got this steering lock. There you go. So that is my steering lock now. And I think that is so innovative. I've never seen it on an enduro bike before, and the fact that it's built into the frame means that it's not going to cost us any weight, it's not really going to add any hassle. But what it will mean, and typically when we're going out enduro riding and with the lads and stuff, we go for our ride and then we stop off at a pub on the way home and have a bite to eat, have a bit of have a beer and stuff, and we just leave our bikes outside. Ultimately, they're dead vulnerable, and someone literally could just whip them away, put a new plastic kit on them, and you'd never ever see them again. Well, now I've got the steering lock. Which one are they nicking? Well, it won't be this one, because I'll only just be able to turn it around in a circle. So I think that is a really cool feature, an added bit of road functionality that these FEs and probably the whole of the Husky Enduro models come with now. The next thing is also massively interesting as well, and it doesn't really matter whether it came on the back of our review or not, but I think this is just really smart. When you buy the bike now, they also come with mirrors. So if you want to turn this into something like a light super, or the ultimate super lightweight adventure bike, you can do. And you've also got indicators. So you've got all of the wiring stuff that you need to attach indicators onto your handlebar. You've got all the wiring looms for it, and you've got the blinkers themselves. So there's 4 of these, and they clearly go in here, to make this bike a bit more functional on the road. Clearly that is not really useful to the guys who are going to ride competition enduro. We're not even putting a reg plate on at that point. But for guys who are doing trail riding and stuff, and perhaps going a bit further afield on their enduro bike, Husqvarna have answered a lot of questions for me with this. And I think this is really, really forward thinking. And certainly when you're comparing it to bikes like the Yamaha WR250f, which is not technically a road legal motorcycle, and the Kawasaki KX250, for example, you really have to go around the houses to get these things road registered. Well, now Husqvarna, not only is it road registered and comes with a reg plate, but they're providing you with indicators and a lock that you can use or not use, and I think that is really top-notch thinking and puts them quite a leap forward in front of the competition. So it's a big thumbs up from me on that one. So that was our first look. What is the master plan? Well, as I said before, we're going to have to put some hours on it. We're going to go off and do some enduros. We're going to do some practice days. We're going to do some riding about here in the Lake District, and probably some trail riding as well, and share the experience with you. So please stay tuned for more content on this FE350. I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome. So thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and check out all the gear that we use to protect ourselves on test. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.